Most elbow injuries in golf come from lack of motion above and below the elbow joint, shoulder and wrist. So what we're going to do is first we're going to take this myofascia ball. You can get this at the sporting goods store or on the site. And I'm just showing you in a standing position where we're going to roll this ball around on the ground. So we're going to have our weight on the ball, as you'll see here. So we lay down and we put it kind of right under our armpit, and then we roll it toward our chest, then down our side, all toward our back, and then up our arm, just loosening up all the muscles that connect to the shoulder joint. Once we create a lot of motion down there, then we can stretch that area out, and by stretching the shoulder out, it makes it so our elbow doesn't have to do so much work. And then we want to also stretch our wrist out so that we have a lot of motion on both sides of the elbow. So we can just take a golf club here. I've got it in my right hand and I'm pulling with my left hand and just pulling the right shoulder back very gently, allowing the hips to go forward and help the shoulder. So I'm stretching the shoulder out in this plane of motion. And then we go the other direction in the right hand still. Now I'm pulling with my left hand, but I'm pulling the club up, stretching the shoulder out. And notice that the hips go back with it. We want to integrate the hips into the shoulder stretch as much as we can. Now we go into the side-to-side plane. So I'm holding it in my right hand again and pulling with my left. You can move the arm that's helping the stretch, the left hand in this case, closer to the hand to get a little more stretch. And now we go into the side-to-side plane again, but now instead of going overhead, we're going underneath. Again, the left hand is helping that shoulder pull up. I'm just showing you this on the left arm, but if you have elbow pain on both sides, you want to do it on both sides. Now we have the transverse plane, just pulling that shoulder around in the transverse plane. And then again we want to go in the other direction, so we put the club behind. Now I'm pulling with my left hand. Be careful about this one, because if you're a little tight in the chest, it's going to be hard to grab the club there. You might want to go up a little higher. This gives you a little bit more range of motion and freedom. But then once you get all these shoulder muscles stretched out, then we go to the other end, which is the wrist. So we find a flat wall and you just push your hand against the wall. The higher up you go, the more stretch you're going to get in your forearm flexors. And then of course we want to do the forearm extensors too. So you just turn your hand over, get the back of your hand flat against the wall, and then just make a fist. And this will stretch out all the muscles in the forearm extensors, again relieving the stress through the elbow. Once we have created all this motion, then we want to create some stability. So I've got just a little 5-pound weight here, and I'm just going back and forth, stepping back and forth, and I'm making sure that I have wrist motion here. So I flex my wrist and then I extend my wrist, and now we're going into the rotational plane, just reaching back and coming around, just making sure that the wrist is moving here. So we've created a lot of motion in the shoulder and in the wrist, and now we're creating stability in there so that the shoulders and the wrist are real strong, and the elbow does what it's supposed to do, which is just be a hinge joint. So if you have elbow problems, this can quickly fix anything you might have there.